to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
The nice weather is back.
Yeah, and it's supposed to cool off again next week.
My daughter asked me, why are you wearing a windbreaker?
A coat.
And I said, I hate mosquitoes.
I agree with that.
It hasn't been bad.
You can wear a chemical coat.
That like 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It was really bad. I don't know. There's still standing water in places.
For sure.
But maybe we're in an in-between cycle because it's definitely warm.
Well,
and
if you flush your toilets every once in a while.
Right. Just flush your shit.
You won't have standing water.
Flush your shit.
That's where they're all growing up, is right in your toilet. Toilette. I'm not talking about the ones in the house.
Have you gotten your second poop screening yet?
No.
I'm a pro now. I knocked that thing out.
Did you?
Like super fast. My wife, # I love my wife.
She hasn't done it yet?
Hers has been sitting and I think they expire. I want to say.
Wait, the cup expires?
I think the packet and whatever like the catalyst is that's on the swab, I think it does. Because I think
Are you swabbing your own anus?
No, you swab the turd.
Hmm.
Remember, there was I got out the blue tape to tape the thing because the payload drops the hammock.
Well, the ones that I like, yes.
Yeah, come on now. How more visual do you need me to get to remind you?
Like Shanna's was like a plastic tray.
She did shit on a plastic tray?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
No,
it's not somebody's chest, if that's what you're asking.
It's not the Scheiße wie Tyson Charles. What?
Yeah.
No, this is the paper stretched across.
Yeah. That sounds like it's being caught in a wet bag.
Yeah. Like, no. Just a little bit. Quick run. And we're good. Yeah, I've but Venus is. But I think the first time this came around, I just like kept putting it off, and I think they sent me another one, or maybe they did her.
Are you Kaiser?
Yes.
And
I'm
not Kaiser.
Hers came before mine, and I think I did mine 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then maybe a week or so ago, she was checking Kaiser, and she's like, "Your test came back fine." I'm like, "Don't have butt cancer." And she went, "Nope."
So does that mean that you had to deliver it to the lab?
No, man. You just put it in the post office.
In the mail?
Yeah.
Because my brother-in-law works for this, I can't remember the name of the company. Oh, we just saw him at Kaiser like last week. But he works for a company that goes and picks up samples.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in like coolers and shit.
Oh.
Some of the stuff has to be frozen. It's poop and pee.
You can tell
there's probably blood in there.
What's in it, and that's what's like. I feel bad because I like my UPS guy or USPS guy.
Does he realize what's going through his truck?
I'm sure they have to know to some end. It's got biohazard and Kaiser written on it. You're like,
yeah,
you're making me deliver shit.
I washed my hands before I gave you this box, pal.
Hey, man, I put this right in there. And
it's not a literal big old deuce in a box.
Yeah, no. It's a deuce swab in a box.
Just keep fire away from it, Kay?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But that is, passed. I'm good.
I feel like I survived taxes.
Yeah.
My wife really drug her feet for me, so that was fun for me to stress about taxes.
Yeah.
Finally got those finished over the weekend, and we ended up owing.
Did you? In the end? Both?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, and we got federal back, but we owed a bunch of state. Yeah. And I think most of that was from Vine, Amazon Vine.
Yeah.
And so in the whole total was maybe $250.
Oh, that's not
terrible. But state payout was almost $800. And then federal Federal was 5 something.
I mean, wait, so
maybe
in
$300.
total between refund and payout,
Yeah.
you were in
the hole.
$250.
Yeah, ish.
That's not bad. I mean,
No.
ideally you want zero.
Or get a little back.
I mean, if you get a little back, then you overpaid somewhere. So
I'm all right with overpaying. I just don't want to have to put a chunk out to
sure.
pay. Yeah.
I mean, any is unpleasant.
Well, we knew the Vine thing was going to be a problem because the year before we didn't order enough Vine stuff to make a difference. Like it didn't.
Right.
And this year we had like $1,100 in Vine purchases.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of those went to the school. They were like puzzles and toys for the kids and stuff like that.
Right. So does Shan, after like the kids have a chance to, use those things, is she the one that does the reviews? So that way,
yeah. If she orders something for her class for her kids, then she'll write the reviews on it.
That's
because I'm like,
that's good though.
Yeah,
then you get like real,
yeah,
not a content creator's perspective on it.
Yeah.
She's putting it to use with an intended audience.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And Vine only give you a certain amount of time to like make sure, you get your reviews in like 3 months or something.
Oh.
But I would be like, hey, you've got reviews to do. I'll leave a page up for you with all the reviews ready. And she would come in and just bang them all out. But so then now she's gun shy on ordering stuff off of Vine because she saw what it did to our taxes.
She's like, vibrant colors. Tastes like cake. Kids love it. They're crayons.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, they're kids. They eat the shit.
Yeah. Now, the most frustrating bit to me is we can put my W-2 stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
And the refund would be like $5,000.
Mm.
And then on the federal, and then on the state, it would be like $1,500 or something. And then I put hers in, and she doesn't make that much money. And then suddenly we're down to like $500 back on federal, and we owe on state. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with your deductions?
Yeah.
And this has been a thing.
Are they the same as yours or different? Do you know?
I think I'm claiming zeros and then having extra money taken out on the federal side.
Sure.
Because
same.
You don't know what the thing of it is that's scary is when your kids start to become young adults and they're no longer able to be claimed by you as a dependent. What does that do to your taxes? Well, shit, I don't know. We've been claiming dependents for 20 something years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, what does that do to your taxes? And so it became a little bit on the scary side. So I was like, let's err on the side of caution. We'll have extra money taken out. Well, now I'm glad we did to a certain extent because we would have just got hosed, just in general, just from putting her stuff in. And then it didn't change much even with the federal, the like federal tax credit or whatever.
Right.
So it's very confusing to me. You don't get the benefit of your mortgage interest and that kind of stuff anymore because does
she still probably think? I mean, you said zeros.
I think she is claiming 1 or something, and I'm like, you got to change that. Like her paycheck will have like a state deduction of like $2, and we're like, what? So for a year, that's like $24. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Something's fishy.
Yeah. And that's only with a 1 deduction? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Something's not adding up there.
So I told her, you need to make sure you change that.
And you file electronically.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were on the way back from the gym the other night, and Venus goes, I think we maybe just ambiently, there was a TurboTax. I don't know what jogged her memory, but she goes, you remember way back when the post office, it doesn't matter, way back when the post office used to stay open late
Oh, yeah.
on the 15th. So that way your return, your filing could be postmarked on time.
That's true.
And she's like, because she's all for decades now worked for her dad as, secretarial administrative office manager.
Yeah.
Office manager for her dad. And they do a lot of traffic through the post office. They pick up checks for the business. They delivered, bills through the post office, like all through right there in Folsom. Like,
yeah,
her going to the post office was a common occurrence. And so on tax days, when she would have to go pick up mail from the P.O. box or whatever, they would avoid tax day because it was like shenanigans. Traffic is bad. And, it was like some of these just old man shakes fist at cloud,
right.
Get off my lawn, like old people talk. I'm like, fuck, you don't hear that anymore. Like,
no.
Surely some people are mailing it in, but and don't you worry, the post office has got you covered. We'll make sure that thing
that
says,
postmark is gold.
Yeah, the 15th is on there. You won't have to pay late. But you don't. I think TurboTax is probably almost
a big part of that.
Just ubiquitous when you do taxes. TurboTax.
Yeah.
Like fucking Kleenex and tissues.
For
TurboTax,
sure.
Tax season.
Well, I had seen recently they were talking about that the federal government was, I don't know what the fight is or the concern, but they were saying there was a headline, something about the federal government has been working on the TurboTax problem, which I don't know what that is. I didn't see the actual story. So there's definitely some irritant about TurboTax, it seems like, at least from the federal government standpoint. When you file your taxes with TurboTax, if you have to file a state return, because some states don't, you can file for free federally, but it costs you $30 to do it through the state.
Oh.
So that's fun. So when you owe, it's just add $30 on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now the TurboTax that I purchased, I bought at Sam's. There was a whole debacle that I didn't actually take the disc home.
Right.
But it came with like a $10 credit. So it actually cost me $19 this year because it came with a $10 credit.
Yeah.
But I just think that's weird. Maybe that has to do with the California Franchise Tax Board. Maybe they charge TurboTax to access their API or
could be
something like that. I have no idea. All I know is that hundreds of dollars went missing from my bank account this week. And I wasn't too pleased about it.
Because ours has been done for a bit, but
yeah.
last year, because we owed so much, Venus paid quarterly, and then we had made all of the deductions, alterations, and then I also pay extra because no one likes coming up with that amount of money
short. Yeah. Do they penalize you if you come up that short? Like, now you have to pay quarterly or something?
Yes, that was what she said, was because we had owed consecutively. You go quarterly. Okay. Like it's,
And that was with the federal though, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Now I've never had to owe that much money to the feds, thank God.
Yeah.
But this year it just happened to be the state because we had that Vine thing.
The Vine, like California tax on Vine.
Yeah, like sense. Sales tax or whatever. And plus it was additional income because the purchase price becomes income. That's essentially how they look at it, plus the sales tax on top of it. So
Venus was like, because the amount we overpaid, so we got a refund federally because we were so gun shy about having to come up. We just moved all the levers the other way.
Yeah.
And she's like, we should be good and we shouldn't have to make quarterly. But she's like, I made a payment anyway.
Yeah.
Like a extra quarterly payment this year. Just because. She's like, I don't think I'll do it.
It's like paying down your mortgage.
For 3. She's like, I don't think I'm going to do it for, all year.
Yeah.
But I'll just do one extra. And
Yeah.
that way we don't, because, it was nuts.
Yeah, dislike greatly. But it's over. Taxes are filed.
Right.
I survived another year. Usually I like to get them done like at the beginning of February. Typically that's how I operate. But for some reason, it was because I didn't have TurboTax for a while. And that whole debacle. And then I got started on it late. And then my wife drug her feet, even though she knows it stresses me the hell out. It was a very frustrating experience for me. And
She needs a calendar invite.
It was just frustrating.
Or a Teams.
Yeah.
Hi, I'd like to start a video conference with you.
Yeah.
Why?
And I mention it all the time.
Tax information. Let's go.
Yeah. Because, she's got, part of the problem is she had to go through and find receipts. Because as a educator, she buys a lot of stuff for the class that she doesn't get reimbursed for. So that's all deductions it's actual real tax deduction, like straight up money that they give back to you. So that's worth getting receipts for all that stuff, because it ended up being like $460 worth of stuff. So worth doing. Didn't change our state tax situation,
right?
But it definitely helped with our federal stuff. But it was just frustrating. And then I heard Chandler was talking about how he waited to the last minute because he's been helping his future in-laws with networking stuff at their house. And so he was having a big problem, and I'm like, okay, well, here's what I see and the problem that you're having. You need to do this. And then I'm like, hey, did you go over there tonight? And he's like, no, I'm doing my taxes, And I was like, oh, okay. I wanted to find out what was going on with the networking thing. So, so a couple of us. Oh, and Melanie.
I was gonna say, did she end up making enough to do, or?
Yeah, because she gets money from doing social media stuff. So she went to do her taxes with the TurboTax I bought. But it wouldn't run on her computer because her computer will no longer update the OS.
Oh.
So she's in that boat. So then the problem is when she went to use like the free online stuff, it said she owed a bunch of money. But then last year she tried to use the free online stuff prior to using TurboTax, and it also told her she owed a bunch of money. Then when she used TurboTax, she actually got a refund back. So the free online stuff kind of misled her. So this year she's like, I'm not using the free online stuff because I know last year it told me I owed money, but really with TurboTax I didn't owe money. And I don't think the free online stuff accommodates all of her school situation things.
Okay.
As well as the TurboTax Deluxe edition or whatever. So she tried to use TurboTax on her computer. Her computer wouldn't do it, and she didn't want to file an O. So then she had to file an extension so that she could come home and use it on our computer and file her taxes that way and hopefully not owe.
Her computer's that old?
It's a pretty old MacBook Air. That's why we got her the MacBook Pro. She spilled water all over. Yeah.
Shit. So these that we have here,
I don't think it would run on there.
Wouldn't run because they're not being currently updated via. Wow.
Yeah, these are too old.
Well, I hadn't really ever thought about that.
And in fact, the M1 Mac Mini that I bought that because first of all, the Mac Mini that I had that was an old Intel machine, I knew it needed to be replaced, but it was just like, I'll just keep going until I can't.
Right.
Well, the first can't was when I used TurboTax the last time on it. It said, oh, by the way, this is the last year TurboTax is going to be supported on this computer. And I went, oh, fuck, I'll have to buy a new computer by the end of the next year.
Oh, honey.
Yeah.
You know that refund we just got?
Exactly.
Fuck.
So there's that. But Melly will be home. We are moving her back. She's all done in San Rafael.
Yeah.
And we're moving her back this weekend, and then she'll be home for a week, and then she'll go back to Portland for
So you
4
are
weeks.
moving San Rafael
to here
for
now.
for a week.
For a week.
And then
her and Shanna are going to load up the car and drive up to Portland and move her into her next Airbnb for 4 weeks. And then after 4 weeks, and then Shan will fly home. And then after 4 weeks, we're going to go up again and unload her storage unit and all of her stuff as she's coming home.
Full move.
It's a full move, and she'll be home for a year at her externship, where she'll live at our house or at home. At our house. She'll live at home.
At our house.
At our house. No, she'll live at home.
Paying rent as a guest in my house.
Right. And she'll be working out of the VA for a year at Mather or McClellan or both or whatever. I'm not sure exactly. But that starts on like June 3rd. So, so it's a bunch of moving for her, unfortunately. And
damn.
Yeah, we've heard some really good stories. It's kind of cool to see her do her thing and hear about some of the stories of her talking to patients, and it's been kind of fun.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool to see that whole thing like taking place. And then the audiologist that she's working with was like, "When's your last day here?" And Mellie's like, "Oh, it's on the whatever date." And she goes, "No, we should just hire you. Can't we just hire you?" And it was like, it's very heartwarming to hear that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that means they really like her.
I got some money in this. Fuckers.
Right. If I don't graduate, I'm not worth shit.
I kind of need the title. Final stretch.
Yeah.
Mommy needs to get paid.
Well, and then
with the famous Shing.
So she'll be here for a year through next May of 25, and then she'll have one last internship that she'll have to finish or accomplish, and then she'll be completely done. But it's kind of bonkers to see that happening, and it's kind of cool to hear her talk about some of the stories that she has with people and hearing aids, and there's always some tears.
Yeah.
Patience. People are people. So there's some of that too.
Well, it's good that right? Because what makes up your outlook on what full-time employment looks like are these small part-time or semi-part-time, full-time experiences.
Sure.
I'm sure she's probably had a less than pleasing experience, perhaps with some coworkers at some of these intern places, and then super positive ones like this one.
Yeah,
it's like this is the color to the painting that helps you get your outlook, not what mom and dad say. This is what it's like to have a full-time job. She's had probably a pretty good spectrum of experiences in these internships. That's a good thing.
It allows her to form her opinion and outlook on what kind of thing that how she wants to behave at work, and what kind of things she doesn't like or like or whatever.
Or if she gets outside, she gets her degree, she gets to the end of school, and now she's in one of these full-time locations, and it's not positive for her. She has an experience like work sucks for fucking everybody, right?
In general,
yeah. Having to not just read a book and do whatever you want and get paid for it, like whatever your pleasure is, to get paid for it so that you didn't have to do labor is probably the dream. I won the lottery, so I don't have to work. I do what I want, but everyone else has to work. So an experience that is positive, that when she gets to the end of the road where she's now in a full-time spot, and it's not at least as positive or near what she had experienced in the past, that helps her set the tone. Like, I shouldn't have to hate doing or deal with a painful or irritating coworker. Like, I want to do this job. I'm passionate about the work, and I can shop for a better work experience.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
These help give her a baseline.
Yeah, and she had that. So she's had a really good experience here in San Rafael.
Yeah.
But her prior internship when she was in Salem was she didn't really care for the person that was
so that's
like her mentor or whatever.
Right.
And so she's had a little bit of that already. And then the other girls that were in the office were sort of, no one was like, it wasn't like a, you know, there were people that were leaving right after her and 2 girls that were pregnant that were going on maternity leave. So no one gave any shits. And so when she left, it was just like, she just left. You know, she was done with her internship. So it was like no one had fucks. No one had any real shits to give. And here they're like, you know, it's like a little family. Yeah, like, hey, we buy lunch for everybody every day, you know. And then they start realizing, oh, you're vegetarian? Like, okay. And so the owner guy would like try to accommodate her, and that, you know, there's that kind of stuff. And it was really kind of like a family sort of atmosphere, you know, and dysfunctional like everybody else probably. Sure. The people in the front desk and like everyone just kind of got along for the most part from my understanding. And so we've heard a lot of really good. Now the negatives parts were some of the patients, like, you know, so you get people that she's young, female, right? They don't trust her. Right. Some, you know, there's a lot of misogyny kind of stuff going on from a patient standpoint because they're older folks.
Right. That generation has probably still had some of those baked in biases towards women in the workplace. Right. Women's ability to add.
Yeah. Are you even old enough to be here?
Yeah.
You know, kind of a thing.
Shouldn't you be cooking a pot pie?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You're about to get cold cocked, dude.
And sometimes they're like, you know, they're older and they get frustrated real easy. It's technology. It's, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's like they sort of take it out on her, even though, you know, she's as pleasant as she can be.
Sure.
So there were a couple of those. We hear stories about stuff and we're like, damn, sorry, that sucks, you know, but not all of them have been like that, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, she had this one gentleman call her kiddo, you know, and I think that's hilarious, but she was like, whatever, you know, kiddo.
I can drink booze, dickhead.
Yeah, I am old enough to have a beer.
And throw it up.
I can have, what was it we had at Mike and Angie's?
The Mellicanes or...
Yeah, hurricanes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. She almost spent the entire party in the bathroom.
Hurricane Melly, that's what it would.
Yeah.
Mellicanes. Although I think, yeah. Anyway.
So anyway, it's just been really fun and kind of nifty to hear. And sometimes she'll just, like today, she called Shanna. Like at the end of my day, I was listening to her talk to Shanna on the phone, and man, she was just mile a minute telling stories and blah blah. And it was just really interesting to hear that. And it was like, dang, where'd all that? Sometimes you're like, do you even know we're here? You know? Yeah. And, but today she was going.
I see that struggle. I think perhaps we've talked about it. Like particularly with hearing aids.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure where my dad sits on that fence. But I have seen, you know, in like within 1 or 2 degrees of family members that are generation above me, like the embarrassment of needing, like,
I don't need no hearing aids.
And I put that pretty close, specifically, I see that perspective with men.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that goes almost hand in hand with driving independence.
Oh yeah.
Do you, you know, that's I have a license and it's good still. And I should be able to drive. You can't hear, or you can't see,
right?
Or your
reaction time is garbage.
They're that, or you can't turn your head anymore. You don't have, dexterity to do all, there are so many aspects of reasons why you shouldn't be doing X.
Yeah.
And you see it as some sort of emasculating event to just accept it's time to find an alternative.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't your ability to travel is not, in this day and age, the concept or the mentality that I have to turn in my car keys because I am incapable of driving, so therefore I am homebound. That concept is gone. Like the Uber, Lyft, taxis, family members, like there are more
electric scooters.
Sure. Fucking one wheels. Boosted board.
Boosted board, exactly.
Fucking, what are those? They're scooters. What are the balance with the two wheels that I see?
Hoverboards.
Yeah, the hoverboards. I see fucking TikTok. How many kitchen-based TikToks have I seen of parents and grandparents getting on one of those things and like,
zing!
Like fucking, you just wrecked grandma's hip.
Yeah. Now she's going to die for sure.
Yeah, she's fucking done.
Once they break the hip, it's all over.
Some dude in his 40s is like, I'm still a hip, son. Let me get on this. Fuck, my wrist. It's over.
Yeah.
But in seriousness, Lyft, Uber, ride sharing, you are not being removed from the ability to continue to experience places outside your home,
right?
Just because you can't drive,
yeah.
or you can't hear. Like who was man? I wish I could remember the relative. Like just has hearing aids. And she doesn't want to be seen with them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a big thing.
Like, and in this case, it's not a male.
Yeah.
But generation above me, like.
Yeah. And what's weird too is apparently a lot of the decisions that are made about what hearing aids you get are based upon whether or not they're viewable or not, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting the hearing aid that you need for the kind of hearing loss that you have. And then that's part of it too. For her is the defensive person who has to get hearing aids, but they're not happy about having to be there to spend the money to get the hearing aids.
Yeah.
So they're upset already because I don't need hearing aids. And well, the tests don't lie. You have a lot of hearing loss.
Sure.
So, you've got a lot of those patients too that are just not happy.
Yeah. They're certainly not cheap, but as our generation gets there, like the hearing aids are just short of earbuds. Some of the higher premium ones are no less advanced, like Bluetooth. You can play your shit through your like you're listening to earbuds.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're functioning as hearing aids.
Right.
Like why?
And they're all tuned. It's amazing to hear Millie talk about
like
all the fine tuning that they have.
Like why would you not? Like certainly my perspective is outside looking in. But if you're getting to the point to where you need hearing aids.
Yeah.
We'll just stick with hearing aids. If you need hearing aids and you are losing the ability to understand conversation at what would be a normal distance, and you think that that's somehow hamstringing your independence or it's emasculating you, and you'd be embarrassed if someone saw something hanging from your ear or the tube going into your ear. Are the conversational missteps that happen? No. What I said, how old is your dog?
It's not even that.
Like, why would you like? That's almost just as embarrassing.
It's the social isolation that you get. That of not being able to partake in the conversation, and that's the reason why a lot of them get depressed.
Yeah,
because
they
can't hear in a social situation. They give up. They get frustrated. They can't hear what's going on amongst their peers. They can't have they can't conversate. So they get frustrated, and then they just feel like they're alone.
Yeah,
and that's a big part of it.
Or
too.
you get punched in the mouth with a, why didn't you do this thing? Like where were you? You didn't tell me. I was talking at you in the, and you didn't hear me?
Yeah.
We didn't, the whole defensive set of conversation with.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Shanna's mom got some hearing aids, and Melly went with her to her fitting. She's an audiologist essentially. Sure. But that was interesting also. But then to hear Nan, we call her Nan, to hear Nan talk about like, oh gosh, I can hear the dishwasher running now. And there's all these things in the house that like, when we're over there hanging out and she starts the dishwasher, we're all like, why is she running the dishwasher? Well, because she could never fucking hear it.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we all can hear it, and it's noisy because it's right there. But then now she's like, oh, that dishwasher is pretty loud. And we're like, yeah, we were always trying to figure out why you start the dishwasher when we're all sitting around talking, and then suddenly the dishwasher's running.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, yeah.
I think we probably talked about this offline, and I don't remember if we talked about it here, but I get super defensive about the driving one. Like the amount of and here specifically with my father as I look forward, and even as a young man, so we living up in the country, Grass Valley. My grandfather lived up by #Hey Dave. He lived up in Penn Valley, Lake Wildwood. His drive when we would do barbecue at the house all the way down at McCourtney, it's a 25-30 minute country drive, winding roads. At some point, my grandfather kept trying to make that drive, and one, he would get lost, or two, he would turn around because it's sunset or whatnot. It was started to get too dark, and he would tell my dad these things, but he wouldn't stop driving to the market. Like, you're telling me all of these things are starting to slip, but you won't let go.
Yeah.
And he had gotten to a stage where he had agreed that if he was coming to the house, my dad's house, that my dad would go and pick him up, somewhere around just an hour or two before dinner, and then he would drive him to the house, and we would have dinner. And then
take him home.
8 or 9 o'clock, he'd drive him home, and that worked. But he would not give up his truck keys. He would not give. And it wasn't until my aunt had a conversation, like all of the kids, all my aunts and my dad had tried. Like, Dad, Grandpa, you need to be done. And his house was in proximity to I wish I could remember the school, but he had to his exit and inflow from his house to the market, he passed right by an elementary school. And my aunt had finally told him, if you can't see and you hit one of those kids in a crosswalk, it would destroy my grandpa. He loved kids. He loved living right by the school because he loved chatting with kids as they walked home and whatnot. And he was just Grandpa Sarda, and that at that time, after that long struggle, was the one thing that finally
tipped the scale.
Venus's grandpa is older than my grandpa, cannot see, probably can't hear, and no one with responsible authority is is doing the neat. Like, he shouldn't be driving, and everyone's looking at it like, well, he's an independent man.
Well,
that's why I'm not stepping in front of that one.
Let's turn this conversation on its side a little bit.
Okay.
You often talk about how your vehicle is your temple.
Yes.
Think about how difficult that will be at some point for you to be able to give up that freedom, right?
Yes.
That'll be a hard day for me. I know
Sure.
it would be a hard day for
right.
you.
But I think part of the difference here, I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah,
right.
It'll be tough.
It'll be tough.
Yeah.
But I'm already at a self assessment to understand. Like, I can disconnect my
arm.
Yeah. I can disconnect my understanding of being independent and capable with the amount of
So you don't have a like some crazy amount of pride that would prevent you think?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, because I am such an enthusiast of being able to drive that when the time comes where my understanding of what it takes to be a safe driver, but also my ability to attain that skill set, I need to find another option. There are plenty of other, it's the easy temple, sure. And certainly probably riding on a motorcycle will go first.
Oh, for sure.
And a car second. But I find flow or zen or temple in a lot of other things, just not as fast, as quick as driving. But I will be able to. I won't sit and fucking drink fifths of vodka because I have to turn in my key fob. I will probably.
You'll have other reasons to drink your fifth.
Right? Fucking fuck. Jax.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no. Someone get the rum.
Wow.
No one's licking my legs anymore.
Venus, get over here. I need my legs licked.
Get on my legs. We still do the check down the court.
Oh, man.
Is any demons down there? No.
That's
all right.
funny.
It's still a thing.
Yeah.
But,
it'll be tough. It'll be hard.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it won't be a tough decision at the time. I think the generation above us has a certain perspective that we probably don't.
I agree with that.
That adds to the need to have that as a, I'm independent because I can drive. Well, where do you need to go? That's not part of the. No,
it don't matter.
I have keys. And I have a driver's license, and I've paid for that car, and I assure you I know where the gas pedal and the brake is, and how the Prindle works. The what?
The Prindle.
Fucking, you're done, Dad.
That's the best.
I told my dad that, too. I think it was a couple weeks ago when we were getting heated discussions about when it's time kind of thing. And he's like, well, you're going to have to come up and get me.
You're all, it's time today, Dad.
Yeah. You're going to have to come up and get me. I'm like, fine.
You got to just start that on him just for fun, just
Yeah.
to see what he does.
What?
Just start on that with him.
Leave your keys, Dad.
Yeah. Hey, I'll give you a ride home. Just leave your keys in your car here.
He's been driving the truck the last couple of weekends because he was mowing his lawn, and lawn is more like hillside.
Yeah.
And he sent me a picture, and his back passenger he's a 4-door Fusion.
Yeah.
Back passenger window shattered. He's like, mowing the lawn.
You picked up a rock.
Hit a rock.
Oh, shit.
And I I'm like, Dad, mowers are for grass, not for rocks. He's like, I don't even know where the fuck I was on the grass. I'm like, well, clearly you were not. Anyway.
That happened when we were kids. My brother was mowing the front yard. I was on the front porch. This is at my parents' house in Fair Oaks. I was on the front porch, probably with my fucking skateboard or something, just dorking around. And my older brother Sean was mowing the yard out front.
Yeah.
Grass yard. It's been grass as long as we live there.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mowing the yard, and the mower picked up a rock or something that was in the grass.
Cling.
And threw it and hit his back window of his Hyundai Excel.
Ooh.
And that motherfucker just exploded. And he's just like oblivious. Brrr, like pushing the big mower.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I saw it happen. Kaboom! Glass explodes. There's glass everywhere. And I'm like, Sean! And he's just like, brrr. And I'm like, Sean! I finally got his attention. I go, look at your back window. And he looks over, brrr. Machine turns off. He's like, what the fuck? You know?
Targa!
Oh, yeah. It exploded.
Wow.
It was like a warm day. So, you know, I'm sure there's heat pressure inside. And it just kaboom! And then he also had another time. He was driving down Highway 50, and someone shot his back window out. What is with the Schroeders getting shot at?
Yeah, something big. You guys getting plinked.
I don't
Did
know.
you
I
lose
wasn't
a
there.
window?
I did. The back window of the
Was it
Civic.
cracked or shattered?
It split because it had tint on it.
Mm.
Just,
Mm.
yeah. But I also had dents on the roof.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm.
But, you know, yeah. So
It
I don't know what. And then on, what was it, like senior ball night or something like that? He borrowed my dad's car to take to senior ball, and he was with people, and he was driving down Madison. This is the story he still says is true. And I have never believed him. I always think something else is going on, but he still claims this is true. He said a pickup truck full of dudes, like there were dudes in the back, and one of them was wielding an axe even.
Okay.
Were chasing them down Madison. And if you know, Bella Vista has a light right in front, like a stoplight.
Yes.
There's if you're going down Madison, you turn down the street. That directly is across from the parking lot from Bella Vista.
Okay.
At that stoplight.
Yes.
He was trying to get away, went through that intersection and hung a left onto whatever the name of that street is. I don't remember. Was carrying too much speed and plowed through someone's yard and over some trees and made it back onto the road. And I think they ended up getting away from the pickup truck with the axe wielding dude in the back. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. But then the next day we're looking at the car and it's got fucking branches stuck to it and there's mud up the side and all this kind of stuff. And he still says that they were chased by some dudes in a pickup truck with a guy with an axe in the back.
And he had his date in the car?
I think so. From what I remember, yes. Yeah.
Shit.
I know.
Where's that young lady at?
I mean, it sounds like something that you would hear that was happening like in the Midwest somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought that was funny. So there was always weird shit going on. So
what were you really doing?
what was I doing?
No, I meant...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then, you know, I was over there, it was a few years ago, over at his house, and I'm like, so what really happened with... Yeah, oh yeah, like, are you... And he's like, oh no, I'm dead serious. And I'm like, I don't...
Why are you still fucking with me?
Yeah,
I'm your brother.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad aren't here.
Right. It doesn't matter. We're fucking 40 and 50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you just get it loose and lose control into someone's yard? Just fucking...
Like, it doesn't matter now.
Yeah. No one cares. I can't narc on you. It's too late.
I don't care.
How'd you get into the weeds?
I would rather know the truth than to have you just keep fucking with me.
Yeah. The Bella Vista axe lords chased me around. What? Come on.
I mean, it sounds so hick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what's weird about that story.
I could see that in Grass Valley or Rough and Ready, but
yeah,
concrete Bella Vista sidewalkings
or Kansas City, or you know.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Come on, Schroeder.
So bizarre. Anyway, that's just a funny story I just thought of. So I agree with that. That would be a tough decision to make, and I feel like my father-in-law might be getting close to that kind of situation. Yeah. He's 83 now, I want to say. And he 2-foot drives now, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
You know, so he's dragging the brake a lot. which is probably why his rotors are warped on the van,
Mm.
that kind of thing.
My dad just took his last week. He took he's driver's license renewal,
Uh-huh.
and he has to go in person either way because it's been so long or whatever. But his renewal options were come on site and take another like on site test that's you have to pass,
Right.
or you take an online test that's not pass fail. It's just 20 minutes watching videos, answering some questions, but you're not graded.
Okay.
He's like, I'll be down next Friday, and we'll
use your internet.
We'll do that one. And I went, oh, okay. He's like, because I don't want to go on site and take a fucking quiz. And I went, well, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, no shit.
So he sat at the counter for like 25, 30 minutes in a school zone. And he's like, oh.
So is it like multiple choice, and if you get it wrong, you just have to answer the right thing?
It's not B. Okay, C. Yeah, okay, it's C.
You just
Yeah.
until you get it right.
Until you shotgun that shit until it's you did great. And then next question.
Perfect score.
Well done. First try.
Your prize is a renewal.
You did it.
Nice.
Are you blind as a bat? No.
Yeah.
You answered this question wrong 2 times already. Oh, shit.
Well, then we seem to have questions, and they're like, if you run across a dead something on the road, you know what I mean? Do you put it in the back of your car?
There was like a,
you know what I mean?
There was a question about, and it was like the funny thing that you'd run into with like someone that's been driving. It had something to do with, what is the speed limit in a school zone?
Oh, Jesus.
And it had like a series of speed limits, and like one is like the standard, probably what's on the default sign.
Yeah.
But it was like a 15, a 25, or a 55,
Yeah.
and maybe some other one in there. And he's like, well, school zone. He's like, well, 15,
15?
He's like, why would... It was whatever he picked, it was the slowest speed.
Okay.
Because if there are kids and it's a school zone, I would drive the slowest that I had to make sure that the kids were safe. And he clicks it, and it's wrong. He's like, Jay, what's the fucking speed limit in the school zone?
25, Dad.
Like, well, it's probably the one that's posted, 25. He's like, why would I drive that fast if I could drive slower? And I went,
You still can.
you could, but from the context of what's posted,
Right.
by default,
Yeah.
they probably want you to answer what the default would be, not what your heart would tell you, because you don't want to hit a kid doing 25. I would hit a kid doing 15.
Do you think that he actually goes 15 miles an hour when he's in a school zone? When he's on McCourtney and he passes Clear Creek?
Well, because the girls go there, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Just because maybe not 15, but certainly probably not as fast. It's just one of those things where it would be like in the reality of given an option, like, well, why would I not choose? Why would I drive as fast as I could posted when you're going to give me an option to, well, I would choose to drive as slow as possible to make sure that, right.
Yeah, but that's not the answer they're looking for.
It's not. It's not.
They're asking for a technical answer.
Right.
Yeah.
He did 15, like, well, the kids will be safe at 15. I will drive as slow. And then, this isn't right. It's 25. Okay, 25.
I mean, honestly,
got
the
it
speed limit in the neighborhood is 25 miles an hour. I never drive 25 miles an hour. I'm always doing 35 or 40. No, I'm just kidding. I'm usually doing like 18. Like, I don't drive through my neighborhood fast at all.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I don't care if you're fucking tailgating my ass. Hey man, I might back off 2 or 3 miles per hour.
Yeah. I'll play fuckery. Yeah.
Oh, are you drafting off me now?
You ever done that with Shan? Like, you're ever driving somewhere and both of you are in different cars and someone rolls up on one or both of you on the freeway
Yeah.
that's just doing fuckery and you just do like the semis do? You box them in just to be like, no.
No, Shan's wouldn't be. She's not into that kind of fuckery.
Venus and I have totally done that.
I could see that
on a number of occasions. Like
Yeah.
this guy's riding my ass, and
Yeah.
it'd be like, okay, well, like we'll be doing this,
Yeah.
and someone comes up on her and like, or me,
Yeah.
and it'll be, she'll read it or I'll read it and be like, okay, I can tell what this guy's gonna do, and one of us will move over, and then
You
Got-
just box him in.
guy moves over like, what?
And then you just
and
back
then
it
we're
off.
just like 55, bitch.
Shan would be too worried about their
Repercussions?
reaction. Yeah.
And it's just like, I'll boop, 65.
Oh, yeah.
What's the speed limit? 65. Deal
Yeah.
with it. Now,
Oh, yeah.
see, I would have let you go, but you came up hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done that where I have dropped my speed down on the cruise
Mm-hmm.
just because you came up on me hot. I'm like, I'm passing somebody already. I'm actively
Right,
passing
yeah.
somebody, and you're coming up on me hot and riding my fucking ass. Well, bump. There's a couple miles an hour off of
Yeah.
the speed. Now you're just gonna wait longer, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't do that, but
Yeah, to instigate road rage.
we
It's
don't condone that kind
Is
of
probably
activity.
terrible. Yeah, I've used a semi to like, listen,
Oh, yeah.
you need to slow down. So use a semi and,
Mhm.
oh. Okay, well, I've given you enough pain, and then
Yeah.
get ahead and get clear
And then you
of
get the
semi.
bird as they
Yeah,
drive
yeah.
by.
Oh, golly. Gee, what happened there?
We were laughing because when Chandler had his driver's permit, I don't remember why we were going, where we were even going, but we were going down 65, and you get into Lincoln and you pass like Lincoln Boulevard and stuff, and like where Target is, and you
Yeah.
keep going. And then there's that new light out there that sort of feels like it's out in the middle of nowhere, but before you go around the curve, like you're going to the backside of Lincoln.
Okay, yes.
And that light turned yellow, and Chandler was driving, and he had tons of time to stop, and then it went red, and he went through it. And Shannon and I both lost our shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mhm.
I thought the light was broken. We're like, yeah, you're so full of shit. Anyway, so then
I thought the like,
he'll be listening to the show later. And so then we were a little further beyond. We go around the curve to the sort of the backside of Lincoln,
Mhm.
and we've got him, not maybe a couple miles an hour over the speed limit. Well, everyone wants to fly through there.
Right.
And there came a point, I think there comes a point where it becomes 2 lanes and spreads back out. And Chandler had his speed, what he was going. And Melanie was in the back seat, and I'm in the passenger seat.
Mm-hmm.
Melly's in the back seat, and this guy's pissed because Chandler wasn't going 5 or 10 over,
Mhm.
right? And as he drives by, he has got the bird flying before he even gets past like the back seat of the car. So he's way pissed.
Okay.
And Melly goes, "That guy, why is that guy flipping you?" And so here Chandler's just trying to learner's permit,
Yeah.
do the right thing, and the guy is giving him the fucking bird,
Yeah.
and we just still think that's hilarious.
Oh,
So it's just a funny story.
I thought you were going to be like, so we told Chandler to speed up.
Oh no, I'd never have him do that. No.
Now he
No.
would, though.
Now oh, for sure.
Yeah. He'd be
He
like,
would be all over that.
I'm fucking this dude
Yeah. Yeah. I've never
with carbide chips.
done that before.
I teach lessons, fuckers.
Sometimes you get lessons taught to you, but
yes.
typically I like to teach the lessons. Yeah. So not much happening for me. Just trying to keep my yard as green and lush as I can before the sun starts to destroy it.
Really?
Yes. We've had so much rain the last couple of years that, man, my yard is just going nuts. It's so green, it has to be mowed every week, otherwise it's out of control. And it just looks so nice. Like, I'm mowing patterns in my front yard.
Are you fertilizing it?
Yeah, I've been fertilizing.
Okay.
I found some good stuff.
Really?
Bandini weed and feed.
Yeah.
That stuff's crazy good. Super happy with it. I was buying like Scott's weed and feed or whatever. Turf plus weed control.
Yeah.
Garbage. Absolute garbage. It never fucking did a thing. I'd put that shit on there maybe 3 weeks in between sometimes.
Yeah.
Never get greener. Never help. Never get rid of weeds. This Bandini shit, buy it.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Yeah. Real good stuff. You're not actively keeping up with your yard, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah. It's one of these situations where I feel like my yard is the same grass I've had since we moved in, right? 28 years ago.
That's a long time for sod.
Yeah. And so I want to keep it. And it's honestly, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Besides myself and my neighbor Ed across the street, two of the nicest yards in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to toot my. It literally just happens to be that way
Fact.
right now. Yes, it is a fact. And I just want to make it last. And the other problem I have is on one side, I got a lady that doesn't do anything to her yard whatsoever. The weeds grow, and then she might get out there with a mower and knock them down every once in a while. So I've got like this weed spray because otherwise her shit's going to come into my yard.
Right.
So I overspray on her side just to keep all the shit down. Because otherwise it'll just infiltrate into my yard.
Right.
And so I have to spray out into her side. And honestly, the only part of her yard that looks decent is the shit that I keep maintaining.
Oh.
Because I'm just trying to keep the weeds away. You know what I mean?
Is it like a strip of lawn that is shared and half of it's dead because you're spraying it and half of it's your green stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a shared chunk of lawn that you're keeping both sides green.
It's no. Well, there is a good chunk of it that I have kept green, but the outskirts, which are like towards her driveway side, are the sides that are just fucked.
Okay.
Is kind of how that's going. That's because I keep overspraying out into her side, like trying to kill the weeds down so they don't come into my yard. I've already had problems with that.
I mean, I have mowed the front because I have a mower.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. You didn't have one for a long time.
Right. So, I mean, what's there is very maintained.
Well, I sent you a video over the weekend.
Wait.
I was mowing my yard, and I was kind of cleaning up everything and putting all my yard tools and things away. And I thought to myself,
Yes.
This probably has an air filter on it somewhere. Now, I have had this Toro. We've talked about this is the legendary Toro mower that I have had since 1996 when we first bought our house. Okay.
Yes.
And I said to myself, I bet you that has a air filter on it. It is an engine. And holy shit, I don't even know where it is. And I've never looked at it. I've never even thought about it. I've never considered it. I never thought I should probably replace that. No, I've never even thought about it. The thought of an air filter on my mower has never even crossed my mind. Now, I have only changed the oil in this thing once.
I was going to say, have you ever changed the oil?
Once.
Spark plug.
Nonce.
That's it. That's all
we need to worry about.
Yeah.
So that's how much maintenance this thing has had. It just literally starts up first pull every time. I don't have worries about it.
Right.
But on this day, I decide I'm going to take the air filter off of my mower and just see what it looks like because I have never had it off.
Right.
So I figured out where it was. I got my drill and I unscrewed the screw and pulled off. Holy shit. It was so fucking dirty.
It was like the underpants from bad taco night at a Cancun outing.
Dude. Yeah. Yeah, with some clippings in there and dirt. I mean, it was horrendous.
Have you mowed the lawn since replacing it or cleaning it?
No, I did not replace it because I'm not sure where to find that particular thing. I'll have to do some research to order one.
It's gonna run so fucking lean.
I'm wondering, right? But
ping, 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 ping.
I used my compressor to blow the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And it was really dirty.
You fucking idiot.
It was really fucking dirty. Stuff just kept coming out of it. It kept coming right on out with the air compressor running the whole time.
Yeah.
I got it clean. It looked pretty good. Not gonna lie, for a however many 28-year-old.
Oh my god, dude.
28-year-old air filter from my Toro that I've never even knew was there until this
weekend. You're gonna get like halfway through your fucking lawn, and that thing's gonna be like, "I'm done, motherfucker, I'm done," and you're gonna be like, "Shouldn't have touched the air filter."
Yeah, exactly. So I blew that guy out. I cleaned up the little thing that went on top, and then I blew out the inside of the mower where the filter covers, just in case I got shit in there, because that's entirely possible given how much crap came out of the filter. And then I put it back.
You're gonna be like, ring ring, hey Nat, can you come down and mow my lawn? Can I borrow your lawnmower?
Load it up in the ridgeline and get that fucker down here.
But help me.
So I don't know why, being a car guy, that I never thought that the mower had an air filter that I would have to look at.
I'm gonna be honest. It took me a minute. Like, oh goddamn, because you're in the garage, and I thought it was like it was going to be a Max thing, because I think I saw in the thumbnail.
He was in the background. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what do we got here? And then the fucking crusted air filter, and I went, why would this? He's like, oh, and then whatever your caption was, or haven't ever cleaned the air. And I went, how the fuck did this happen? How is this possible?
It's just, I'm not kidding. That thing, it's a Toro. You just prime it 3 times and it starts right up.
I thought part of the story about how awesome it was at its longevity was because it was actively being maintained.
Oh, hell no.
And I see this 28-year-old fucking... And now, to its credit, the filter, its media itself, still had integrity.
Yeah.
It wasn't like falling apart like wafer paper.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself is like, and
I mean, I gave
triumph of engineering.
And I gave it the beans with the air compressor, and it didn't fall apart one bit.
Yeah, the rubber seal looked
pliable,
supple.
The
cotton filter folds looked fine.
Yeah.
And especially after you gave it the business.
Yeah. Yeah. So
good luck.
Nice job, Toro. That's all I'm going to say.
Sure.
Jeez.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No. Now, it does blow a little smoke right when you start it up, so probably the rings are going or something. I don't know. But, whatever. I definitely got my money's worth out of it.
Sure.
$300 when I bought it, or $250 or something. 28 years ago.
God damn. Could you imagine?
I know. Now that same mower is probably $500 or $600. If you can even buy it. Can you buy a gas one now? Is that still a thing?
That's a good question. I don't.
You'd have to go to. I'd have to drive to Reno to get a gas mower.
You'd have to import it through Reno or Boise, Idaho.
Yeah. I had to smuggle a fucking mower in to get a gas one if I want now.
You have to buy one of Elon's.
Now, I did talk to my neighbor, the other guy that has a really nice yard. Now, he has resodded his yard, though.
Oh.
I will say that, Ed.
Hack.
Yeah. But he had I want to say he had a Toro before. And I don't know, a year or two ago, he bought a DeWalt electric.
Oh, yeah?
So battery operated one.
Yeah.
Super quiet. And I was asking him, hey, how do you like your DeWalt mower? He goes, well, it's good. It's just, it doesn't have the suction pull that the gas mower had, for some reason. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it could be a design difference between a DeWalt and the Toro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but that's the only complaint he had about it. But he's like, I charge it, I throw the batteries on the charger, and he mows sometimes twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I throw them on the charger, and it does everything I need it to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes he says, I just feel like it doesn't have as much suction or whatever, I don't think my mower does a good job with suction. It has a very small port between the cut deck and the catcher, the grass catcher.
Yeah.
That port's really tiny, and over the years I've clogged it countless times with like leaves and stuff like that. And I always feel like it leaves a lot of stuff behind. I've never been completely happy with the way it picks up stuff, like especially if there's lots of leaves and stuff on the ground. But I mean, as long as it keeps on kicking, I'll just.
I'm trying to get my dad to get the DeWalt weed eater because he goes through like those small 2-stroke, even 4-stroke weed eater engines in like his.
He needs a DR trimmer mower.
And he has a number of attachments for the tractor and a ride-on mower.
Oh yeah.
But to get in between his grapevines and the pomegranates and the fruit trees, he needs.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I go through mowers, but mine was from laziness. Him being in the country, and you know how country people, how my dad treats some of his tools, particularly ones that run on engines.
Those country folks.
Yeah, so irresponsible. He's just, plus the.
Yeah.
Not that he's a weak man.
Well, that can be tough
to plug
on
it in and go and just. But he's kind of hemming and hawing on it.
Now I knew a guy, an old coworker that lived sort of in North Auburn area, but like before Combi and that sort of area on the east side of 49, and they had a decent sized piece of property, and he was always talking about, I'm like, hey, Eric, what'd you do this weekend? And he'd be like, oh, well, we were doing a lot of trimming and we had to go buy a new one, and they were just trashing trimmers all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just the nature of the property or something.
Yeah, a lot of times it's blackberries. Like when we would have to do like work parties for the NID or just cleaning up the bridge area.
Yeah.
Blackberries they're
too heavy duty.
They just eat wire.
Yeah.
Or you have something with a specialized bit attachment, and it's typically still not seasonally durable. Like it's good for one season, or the length of time that you have to chase blackberries because they're just so prolific.
Yeah.
It gets and you don't have the time, and it comes back, and now you've got to spend 2 hours doing it.
Yeah, you need a DR that has like a blade that spins on the front of it.
Something with an actual, like they, Caltrans will use to a slightly smaller scale. He has something for the back of his for his tractor. It's just a thrasher.
Yeah.
It's just like a series of like knobs and almost
hammers and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. Actually, they're like little ball peen things that just kind of like almost go against each other, and it
just shreds up all the stuff.
Yeah. It mulches it. It effectively mulches it.
Yeah.
So he'll put pomegranate trimmings like in the middle of the aisles, and then he'll run his tractor with this thrasher
just
on top of it, and it
grind
just
it up.
mulches it, but he didn't have that until just slightly after COVID. And so what he would do is either completely destroy a weed eater or completely destroy a ride-on mower that's meant for a lawn in a suburban area, not 5 to 10 acres in the country.
Yeah.
Anyway,
interesting.
We're at time.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, dang. I don't know what to say about that.
You should return the cart.
Yeah, you should wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
You should check your oil, Tony.
Stay up to date on your shots.
Make the call if you need to.
Register to vote.
Do the kindness.
Check your air filter. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye. It's so dirty.